Eva, good to see you again.
Hi, Alina. Nice to see you again, too.
Because we started our conversations about a year or so ago,
Yes.
when the whole world started to experience some very new events um, that have changed a lot of habits and a lot of ways of living. How much do you think that these events have been perceived as traumatic for humanity as a whole and for each individual?
Mm. Yeah, I've been really thinking about trauma and traumatic events quite a bit lately on many accounts. So I'm happy we can have a few moments to touch upon that issue. I'm wounded. It's a wound, which does happen all the time. And then I think we can um, describe, physical woundedness, which is to me a magical thing. If I cut myself and I can basically look over days how my skin has its capacity to heal itself, and maybe sometimes there's not even a scar that's left, or a scar reminds me of once upon a time I was wounded and my body had its way of healing itself magically. To me, that's an interesting metaphor. But talking I want to say on the emotional psychological level, I find the measures that were taken to account in order to save lives in the extension of what we have experienced. And I can only talk for Germany because that's where I live. Lockdown, isolation, rules about putting on your mask and have your face being covered, which sometimes has a restriction of breathing, um, definitely had a traumatizing effect in the length of it on our kids, our young people. I'm running a coaching practice, and I have more and more young people coming to me, age of 17, 18, 19. They missed their celebration on Abitur, which is, the finishing of high school, which is a huge event. Usually we throw a whole week party of, themes and just having a ritual space of marking. I finished school, now I'm off to the world. I'm ready to either way go to university or go to work or go to travel, explore the world. And they have not been able to do that because of the distance and isolation. This is in itself can be for some a traumatic event, because it's a marker that needs to take place from one identity to the next identity, and it's missing. I've been sitting with youngsters feeling very depressed, feeling very low energy, feeling very anxious because they don't know what the future brings. And those significant events are missing. I was on the street, I was talking to one of my neighbors, and she said, my daughter is 13, and we just reopened the school so that they could actually mix and mingle with other kids. And she felt actually uncomfortable and anxious to reconnect to their peers, because now they have spent so much time alone, and so many messages about other being with other people is potentially dangerous, and that she couldn't stand the noise. It was too noisy. She couldn't be with too many other people. It felt uncomfortable. She didn't feel safe. And we both agreed that that's a pretty abnormal idea. Young people have a natural yearning for interaction, for exchange, for connection, for being with each other. And I am frankly concerned about our natural yearnings to be so suppressed over a whole period of over a year for young people that they trained themselves to not feel their aliveness and their natural yearnings anymore in order to fit in. And that is a traumatic event that has a traumatizing effect, and you see it in the spirits of them being diminished and feeling depressed and anxious. And that is concerning.
What do you think would be a way of um, transforming this experience into an experience of growth and experience that can enrich our lives?
Well, I think number one is that we need to create awareness around the the different things we have put in play, and that this has a discomforting impact on us, and not normalizing it. Like, if when I'm in the parenting or in the grown up position, um, I support to notice that when the kids have their mask on for an extensive time, um, that this is not just a normal thing, but the more natural is, I want to see a smile. I want to take a nice deep breath and point out the differences between covering yourself up and playing by the rules, but also to point out the natural longing and the natural need to create different experiences. I suggest parents creating quality time together with their children and really making contact with each other. They can be together, they can stay together, and go for a bike ride and spend shared time together. Notice how delicious it is to be in interaction and connection with each other. Notice how delicious it is when you feel free to hug each other again. So creating experiences that will bring our attention to, now that we have to restrict ourselves, I can create a difference that is now, tell me, does not feel like life bringing, aliveness. I mean, I have these conversations with friends where we feel free to hug each other, and we are really kind of talking about that is bringing me aliveness. This is how I feel you, and you feel me, and we feel felt through each other, and noticing that whatever I felt taken for granted, that it's not a natural thing now after we have gone through all these experiences, and just say, if I am with another being, my arms naturally want to do that. If this is somebody, like for you, if I would be in the same space with you, my arms would be wanting to naturally do that. And I probably am now much more aware how beautiful that exchange is, that my arms want to wrap around yours if you are feeling okay about that, and if we both enjoy it, and then to be awake and conscious and aware that that is something really beautiful to exchange, and exchange a heartbeat. So I guess a restriction is also bringing awareness to something that is life assuring and life bringing and really important, and we can now become more aware of it and exchange it. Or for example, I see friends, and then I let them know, thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate now that spending time in togetherness is such a gift, because we couldn't for some time. Saying out loud the things that are seemed to be natural and now are really becoming a gift.
Yeah, that there's a saying that states that we can become fully aware of the value of a thing when that thing is taken away and we don't have full access to that.
Yes.
So
And all,
by things being under restriction or
yes.
put it in a certain context that was not so accessible and could not be taken for granted anymore,
Yes.
gave us all the opportunity of reconsidering how how we were relating to those things before.
Absolutely. And I think we could coach each other, point out what what do you do? What are you most putting your attention to when you feel most alive? What brings aliveness? There's such a significant difference for me for between surviving or I feel alive. I feel that really I'm vibrant and open and I feel an aliveness in me. And I tend to ask, when is a moment that you recall that you really felt that sense of aliveness, really being alive? And let's unpack that. And I think we can ask those questions and noticing for yourself, now I feel alive, what am I doing? And if somebody else is involved in it, I will tell them. I will tell, our conversations creates an aliveness in me, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you for those exchanges. You being here with me brings aliveness to me. So I'm really grateful for that. And I can feel it in my body as I speak that. So those are, I think, simple yet profound opportunities to create growth out of those experiences. And the ingredients it has is I need to become aware of it. I need to notice. I need to name it. I need to have a way to put it in words. I need to name it. I need to claim it. I need to really make it clear, aware, and conscious to myself. I need to embody it. I need to feel those experiences in my body. And then I need to share it in words so that somebody else can receive them. So experiences now that we name, claim, own, embody, share, and allow them to be received. That to me creates a loop of bringing difficult situations to an awareness that will then allow through those different ingredients to make a growth experience.
Yeah, that's a really complex topic that we took in today in our conversation, and I would invite you to go more into depth of this topic in our future interactions, if you agree.
Sure. Sounds great.